I would like to call the meeting of the Board of Directors of the Des Moines Public Schools to order for September 5th, 2017. Please take the roll.
Ms. Boson?
Here.
Natasha Newcomb?
Here.
Ms. Langford?
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Caldwell-Johnson?
Here.
Ms. Ellsburn?
Here.
Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Barron?
The first item on our agenda this evening is approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to pull items from the agenda? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion and a second to approve the agenda.
I'll move approval.
We have a motion from Boson and a second from Natasha Newcomb to approve the agenda. Please vote. Ms. Langford?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. The next item on our agenda this evening is approval of the minutes. May I have a motion and a second to approve the August 15th, 2017 minutes?
I'll move approval.
We have a motion from Ellsburn and a second from Anderson. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, please vote. Ms. Langford? Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. There are no district recognitions this evening, so we will move to our consent items. I want to remind the audience that we allow any person the opportunity to speak to the board for 5 minutes following the presentation of an agenda item. If anyone wishes to speak to an agenda item, please go to the information table to sign up. Remarks must be germane to the agenda, and we ask that you avoid reference to personalities and character attacks, as those types of comments serve no productive purpose. As a reminder to the board and public, the board will not engage in discussion or deliberation with the speaker regarding comments made to agenda items. Discussion and deliberation will remain among the board members at the board table, with speakers' comments informing said discussion, deliberation, and determination as deemed necessary. We appreciate your input. Natasha Newcomb, I believe that you have the consent motion for this evening.
I do. I move that the board approve the consent items in accordance with the recommended action for each item on the consent agenda, including bills previously authorized, certified, and approved for payments by the board secretary in the amount of $9,013,230.18, and procurement card transactions in the amount of $644,699.36.
May I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Natasha Newcomb and a second from Boson. Is there any discussion on the consent items? Hearing none, please vote. Ms. Langford?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. The next item on our agenda is a public hearing. I'll call the public hearing to order on item D1, granting an ingress-egress easement to Hawkeye Elks Lounge, number 160 at the Walker Street Annex. Is there anyone wishing to speak to this item? Hearing no one, I'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask the superintendent to please introduce the matter.
I recommend the board approve the granting of a temporary access easement to the Hawkeye Elks Lodge, number 160 at the Walker Street Annex.
Are there any questions or comments from the board before we move to a motion and a second? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion and a second to approve the granting of the ingress-egress easement to Hawkeye Elks Lodge, number 160 at Walker Street Annex.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion from Boson and a second from Natasha Newcomb. Any other discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Ms. Langford?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. The next item on our agenda is item number E1, open enrollment late applications for denial. I'll ask the superintendent to please introduce the item.
Per state code, families are able to apply for open enrollment in a timely fashion. If they miss the date certain, they may apply for late open enrollment, and we may grant those due to a certain range of good cause reasons. And those on the agenda tonight are those that were deemed not to meet the good cause open enrollment exceptions.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion and a second to deny the late applications for enrollment.
Move approval.
We have a motion from Boson and a second from Ellsburn to deny the late applications for open enrollment. We do have one speaker for this evening's E1 item, Christy Scrimmager. If you could please come to the podium. State your name and address for the record before sharing your comments. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you for having me here. My name is Christy Scrimmager. My address is 3606 Thornton Avenue, Des Moines, Iowa, 50321. My daughter, Alexis Sickles, she has s'mores nodes, which is in her lower back. We're currently doing physical therapy. They don't think that the doctors don't think that the physical therapy is going to work, but she has to have a certain amount of sessions before she can have the MRI done so we can move forward. We just had an x-ray done recently, and you can see that it looks like there's a fracture in her back, and we're not sure exactly what that is. She's most likely going to be having the MRI in 6 weeks, and then after that, she's going to be set up with a spinal specialist. I do have an older child that went through the similar thing with her back. The school that I've asked for her to go to is Connections Academy. It's an online homeschool. My child cannot sit for long periods of times, nor can she stand for long periods of times. I have 5 kids. 2 are adults already. 1 graduated from Lincoln, which was an awesome school for him. The other one graduated from Connections Academy, the one that had similar back issues. And both of them have gone on to college. One is going to be a teacher, and so I know that the online school system works. I know that Connection Academy worked for her. I like the Des Moines public school system a lot. I'm a big fan of it. We hope to get these back issues resolved, hopefully, so that she can go back to Lincoln and not miss out on prom like my older daughter did. So I'm trying to do it earlier with her and get it, hopefully, praying to God that it irons itself out. So I just wanted to speak on her behalf because I do, with 5 kids, each kid is different, and as a mother, I know that you have to treat each child differently, and this is what I believe would be best for her future at this particular time.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate your comments.
Having me here.
I don't think we have any other speakers for the late open enrollments. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Yes, Natasha Newcomb.
I just want to point out, after reviewing, we had a number of open enrollment late applications. I will be voting no today.
Other comments?
I was just, given my review, I disagree with some of the denials, and I will be voting no.
Additional questions or comments? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second on the table to deny the late applications. Please vote. Ms. Langford? So we have, the motion passes 4 yes, 2 no, and 1 abstention. I do believe that Eleanor Shirley from did they leave?
Walked out.
Oh, I was going to recommend that we have an opportunity for the family to talk to Ms. Shirley, so hopefully we'll have a chance to follow up with them. It sounds to me as if this could be a temporary need that ultimately, if they're able to resolve the medical issues, she might be able to return to Lincoln. So I don't know the answers to all of those questions, but hopefully we'll be able to follow up with them. Thank you, Eleanor, for being here tonight. Appreciate it. I wanted to point out 2 items that were submitted for board awareness this evening. The audit committee update, which hopefully we've had a chance to review, and then the notification of award of competitive quote for playground tiles. If any board members have questions on either of those items, I believe that there were contacts included, so I would suggest that you reach out to the appropriate individual for any follow-up. The next item on our agenda this evening is the chair's report, and I have 2 things that I'd like to share, 2 statements that I'll read on behalf of the board. The first is to do with Hurricane Harvey. The eyes of the nation have been glued to Texas this past week, as Hurricane Harvey has brought destruction and havoc to so many people and places, including Houston, our country's 4th largest city. Des Moines and Houston have a couple of things in common. For one, We are cities that know the devastating impact of floods, as well as the generous response people have to such disasters. Second, both Des Moines Public Schools and the Houston Independent School District belong to the Council of the Great City Schools, an organization of 68 school districts that advocate for urban education. Over the past week, the council has urged its members to help the Houston School District with either financial donations or school supplies. Here in Des Moines, several schools have already stepped up to help. A few examples include the IJAG programs at North and Roosevelt, who have paired to gather school supplies. Students in the DEF program at East made signs to let their teachers and classmates know about ways to help. Students at Greenwood, Hubble, McCombs, and Merrill have been raising funds or gathering supplies. And finally, Walnut Street students volunteered at Meals for the Heartland, preparing shipments to Houston. There is a great need for items ranging from building materials to school supplies for students. The last account, we had noted that 50 of their public schools had some degree of damage, while others were being used as shelters. What I would like to propose is we do a district-wide effort to encourage our staff, along with those of us on the board, to contribute to the Houston School District. In addition, the Houston School District's foundation has a special fund set up to help meet some of the needs as a result of the hurricane flooding. We will be sending out a letter on behalf of the board to district administrators, faculty, and staff, and we will ask for contributions that hopefully we will be able to match by, will be matched by the Des Moines Schools Foundation. We will be meeting with them next Monday. We strongly encourage our district staff to get behind this effort, recognizing that if this was something that was happening right here in Des Moines, we likely would be getting the same support from districts throughout the country. So thank you, and expect to get a letter from the board at some point very soon. The next item that I'd like to talk to has something to do with the action that the board has taken earlier this year relative to the Dreamers and the deferred action for childhood arrivals. Earlier today, President Trump and his administration announced its plans to end the Deferred Action for Child Arrivals program. Such a decision can only be described as cruelty towards children and young people who, through no fault of their own, call the United States their home and who are abiding by our laws, getting education, or working in a job. Children and young people who register under DACA are rightfully called dreamers, as they are doing what is right in order to pursue the dream of freedom, of a better life, of a good education, of what made America a destination for so many in the first place. As we said earlier this year, Des Moines Public Schools welcomes immigrants and refugees as our students and families, as our neighbors, and as our friends. Every student at Des Moines Public Schools, no matter where they were born, should know that they belong here and our school district stands by them. We will continue to say that each and every day. For those of us who dedicate ourselves and our lives to public education, concerns about immigration are second to our focus on the health and well-being of children, no matter where they're from. Our work is to create opportunities for every student, no matter if they were born in Des Moines or one of the 100 different nations represented within our district. We want to see every student, including our dreamers, learn and succeed in school, have fun and make friends, and find their passions, earn their diploma, to grow into people they dream of becoming. When children in Des Moines show up at our schools, no matter their place of birth or religion or language or skin color, they should know that they belong here and that we stand by them. Our government should do the same. That concludes my comments. And I would open it up to any of my board colleagues for comments this evening. Hearing none, I will turn it over to the superintendent.
I would just like to echo all of the remarks just made by our board chair, President Caldwell Johnson.
With no other business, I will adjourn the regular meeting of the school for September 5th, 2017, and we will begin a short work session immediately following. Thank you very much for being here this evening.